Thank you.
Mr Speaker. The Honourable Craig Foss.
It's been a rough few days in Havelock North, Hawke's Bay. We've been boiling water, we've been buying water, we've been looking after family, we've been looking after our community, we've been feeling for friends, neighbours, community who have had this devastating bug go through them. It has been a tough few days in Havelock North, Mr Speaker, indeed. And it is not good enough in 2016 for people anywhere in this country to not be able to rely on good, clean, quality drinking water. Absolutely right. It is not good enough for the people of Havelock North to be frazzled, to be at the end of their tether, to be frustrated, to be angry, to be upset, to be absolutely at the end of their tether about an issue which none of us actually at this stage know the true cause of. I'll come back to that in a moment. It is not acceptable, Mr Speaker, to the people of Havelock North, to the ratepayers of Hawke's Bay, to wonder now if they were fully informed at the right time early enough. It is not appropriate, Mr Speaker, for the local member not to be informed at the right time when it should be appropriate, Mr Speaker. It has been a rough few days in Havelock North, Mr Speaker, but people in Havelock North are getting together, they are working together, they are rallying round, people are supplying water, tankers are turning up, etc., Mr Speaker. The community is doing what the community does best, Mr Speaker. The Hastings District Council have taken responsibility. The Hastings District Council are the body in charge, and as the Mayor Yule said, responsible for delivering safe water, drinking quality water to the people of Havelock North. There seem to be some serious gaps in the information to everybody. There seem to be some serious miscommunications across our community. The independent inquiry will no doubt probably find some holes in the system, whatever the system is. But right now, we need to help get everyone well, look after our family, look after the water, look after our community, as many of us have been doing, Mr Speaker, over the last few days. Mr Speaker, our community deserves to know the facts, deserves to know what happened, how it happened, who knew, when they knew, who was informed, when they were informed, why or why not, Mr Speaker. But we can come back to that after the independent review. The government will be part of that review. The government is very interested in the terms of reference of that review, Mr Speaker. But now is not the time for the political grandstanding. People are hurt. Kids are dehydrated. Babies are suffering. Families are suffering. Elderly folk are suffering. Our families are suffering. Now is not the time to get all political about this. Now is the time to deal with it, manage it, help people get better. Now is not the time to grandstand on people's misery, however close it might be to home. Get together across the House, members. You can come after me later if you like. You can come after the government, or actually appropriately you should go after the particular councils, those who are responsible for managing this issue. But right now is not the time. 2,000 people are very, very unwell. 22 people are in hospital, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, the government agencies have been getting into action here and been underway since they first became aware. Half of other members' speeches I actually agree with. Half of probably Annette King's speech I agree with, but not the political stuff. Kevin Haig gave a very good speech up until he got a bit waylaid there somewhere. But he's absolutely right, and I'm sure other members agree with me. It is not acceptable what's going on today, but we don't know what caused it. It could have been some kind of accident, or it could be something far, far worse. I don't know. We'll find out, I hope, the inquiry, the DHB, the Hastings District Council, whoever will find out, I'm sure. I'm very, very hopeful. But as a local, as a resident, as a neighbour, I am deeply, deeply concerned as to the unavailability and uncertainty that this has created, not only for our families, but for our business community across Havelock North. Havelock North was empty right through the weekend and yesterday. Things started to empty out on Friday as people started to realise lots of people were starting to get sick, and many weren't informed as to what possibly might have been going on. Some members said that before. They're quite right. They're quite right. I was speaking to someone on Friday morning telling me about their son. Neither of us did too much about it. We didn't think too much about it, other than there were other bugs going around town at that time. And suddenly it ramped up Friday over the weekend. And it's obviously very, very serious, Mr. Speaker. The business community, I am calling now on the business community across Hawke's Bay, the suppliers to the businesses of Havelock North, who have had a collapse in their revenue and business over the last last few days, to be accommodating and reasonable, because come the 20th of August, a whole lot of invoices are due, and a whole lot of businesses' cash flows dried up. And I ask them, as a local, as a fair-playing Kiwi, as a fair-play Hawke's Bay person, to be accommodating, to offer solutions, to help the cash flow of some of those businesses who are having very, very tough times. Banks, landlords, suppliers, particularly the larger suppliers, be reasonable, be fair and be accommodating, because the stress we have all suffered, the stress that many are still suffering right now, we do not need to continue across to the business environment. It will come right eventually. I hope it's peaked. I don't know. DHB think it's peaked. We don't know until probably today and tomorrow, but we don't know. We will get through it. We need to get through it. We always get through. Yes, there'll be an inquiry later on to see if there's any gaps in the system, or most importantly, communications or information systems. But right now, Mr. Speaker, I repeat, it is not the time to have a go, to be political. There will be time for that later, I'm sure. Right now, please, members, join me in trying to do anything you can, I can, we can, our communities can, to help Havelock North through this disaster, crisis, emergency, whatever you have it. Please help us, help ourselves to get through this and put the politics aside, at least until we get on top of this issue and it is absolutely and truly peaked and we know it is ended. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well done, Meka Whaitiri.